Everybody vibes with the all-new Camry. A standard 225-horsepower engine and an available sport-tuned suspension provide the power and agility to take you anywhere. And to do it in style. With available features like the two-tone midnight black metallic roof, color-matched sport grille, panoramic glass roof, and cockpit red leather trimmed interior, the Camry has never looked better. And because every all-new Camry is a hybrid, it delivers up to an EPA-estimated 51 miles per gallon combined. Whatever your vibe, it's a Camry vibe. Learn more at toyota.com/Camry. Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about adversaries, women who fought for their place in history, whether they fought to get to the top of their sport, against how society perceived them, or fought with each other to be champions. We're talking about women who broke barriers and sometimes did seemingly impossible or unspeakable things to carve out their place in history. Like the barrier breakers we're covering throughout the month, our partners at Camry are inspiring women to seek knowledge, creativity, joy, and experiences that will continue to push boundaries. Today, we're talking about a trailblazer in Mexican wrestling. Known as La Dama Enmascarada, the Masked Woman, she was the first woman to don Mexico's iconic luchadora masks. That is, until she lost it in a bet with her rival. Meet Magdalena Caballero-Morales. Magdalena was born in 1925 to a family of circus performers. From a young age, she was trained in the ways of the big top. Her specialty was an act where she would swing from a rope, which she held with her teeth. When she was 15 years old, Magdalena met a dashing lion tamer by the name of Andres Ramos. She fell for the handsome and charming fellow circus performer. The two got married and had 6 children. But Andres was a womanizer, so eventually Magdalena decided to leave him. She set out on her own with their 6 kids. To make ends meet, Magdalena began boxing. She was of average height, 5'5", but she was relentless. Her intense fighting style caught the eye of a promoter one night, and he suggested she try her hand at another sport, wrestling. Magdalena was intrigued. By the 1950s, Mexico's lucha libre had developed its own unique style and a following. Fans went wild for the athletes who wore colorful masks and performed acrobatic, high-flying maneuvers not previously seen in wrestling. But Magdalena and other women faced resistance in entering the male-dominated world. In fact, in 1957, the controversial politician Ernesto Uruchurtu declared a ban on women competing in contact sports in Mexico City. At that point, Magdalena had already started her career. By 1952, she'd entered the ring and decided to don a mask. She's believed to be the first woman to wear the luchadora mask, and she wasn't going to stop because of some ban. In just a few years, the masked woman was one of the best. Her childhood in the circus came in handy. One of her signature moves was climbing to the top of the ring's ropes and then launching herself horizontally, with her feet aimed directly at her opponent's neck. She would bite, punch, and even break chairs over the backs of her opponents. The fighting was ferocious, and Magdalena's kids recalled how she'd often come home bleeding. Once, she even broke her leg. In 1955, 1 year after women's participation in contact sports was technically outlawed in Mexico City, Magdalena claimed the belt for the inaugural National Women's Championship. They competed about 500 miles north of the capital, in Monterrey. The win was short-lived. Less than a year later, she lost the title to a new wrestler, a fierce young woman who had just made her debut. Irma Gonzalez was athletic, tough, and creative, just like Magdalena. And she was from a family of circus performers, also like Magdalena. In fact, they were from the same circus family. The two wrestling stars were cousins. Records from this time are spotty, but Magdalena and Irma fought in match after match. The rivalry proved so popular that they held a high-profile betting match on October 5, 1958. In these matches, the competitors would put something on the line. As Magdalena and Irma prepared to face off, they put it all on the line. Irma bet her hair, If she lost, she'd have to shave her head. And Magdalena bet her whole persona, her mask. While we have no record of exactly what happened, it resulted in Magdalena, the masked woman, being unmasked. Irma won. She got to keep her hair, for now. Both women continued fighting, and it's believed that in 1961, Magdalena triumphed, and Irma was forced to shave her head as a result. Magdalena and the other luchadoras traveled throughout the American Southwest, going up against American wrestlers. And it was lucrative. She made more than enough to support her family. Magdalena and Irma also wrestled in a few films, like Doctor of Doom, directed by Rene Cardona,
Alive!
who was well known during the golden age of Mexican cinema.
Vendetta!
Tonight we present the greatest wrestling match in history, fighting for a $25,000 purse, Vendetta versus Gloria Venus.
Eventually, Magdalena walked away from the ring. She decided to spend more time with her family. For more than a decade, they traveled around Europe. This time, Magdalena followed her kids on their own circus tours. Magdalena bought land and settled near Tampa, Florida. Her kids and then her grandkids went on to be circus performers, though that way of life is increasingly obsolete. Magdalena died on March 11, 2006. She was 81 years old. Irma, meanwhile, went on to be one of the most well-known wrestlers in Mexican history. She traveled around the country and abroad in her decades-long career. She's still alive and competed well into her 60s, sometimes alongside her daughter, who became a part of the new generation of luchadoras. All month, we're talking about Adversaries. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow. Everybody vibes with the all-new Camry. A standard 225 horsepower engine and an available sport-tuned suspension provide the power and agility to take you anywhere, and to do it in style. With available features like the two-tone midnight black metallic roof, color-matched sport grille, panoramic glass roof, and cockpit red leather trimmed interior, the Camry has never looked better. And because every all-new Camry is a hybrid, it delivers up to an EPA estimated 51 miles per gallon combined. Whatever your vibe, it's a Camry vibe. Learn more at toyota.com/Camry.